everyone, my name's Allie and welcome back to my channel, Mindful Living. I wanted to quickly apologize for being absent on here this past month. It's been a crazy few weeks, but I am finally back and will be posting again regularly, so make sure to hit the subscribe button to catch my new videos. I have lots of new content planned for 2021. I'll be sharing tons of new recipes, growing cherry tomatoes and jalapeno peppers indoors, and more, so make sure to hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss any of my new videos coming. Okay, let's get started with today's video. Today, I am finally giving you guys a full update on my fall garden and how everything grew. I had some great successes and some major misses with my first fall garden, so I'll be going through each of the plants and letting you guys know how each of them turned out. Let's get started with cauliflower. So I started my cauliflower from seed, which you guys can see here. My cauliflower plant was growing really well all season, but I did not end up with a cauliflower head at the end of the season, which was super disappointing. Basically, it got cool, then hot, and back to cool again super fast, all within the span of 1 week, and this caused a lot of stress on the plant. Since it is a cool season crop, cauliflower doesn't like the hot weather, so this definitely caused a lot of stunted growth in the plant. I think if I had a few more weeks of decent fall weather, things would have turned out a lot differently. So I'll take what I learned this year and will definitely start planting my garden earlier next fall. Sometimes weather can be unpredictable like this, and it can take you a season or two to figure out what will work best for you, your garden, and your climate. Okay, moving on to beets. I planted my beets directly in the soil, as you guys can see here. One thing I will say is I should have properly spaced my beets a little better, which I'm going to show you guys why in a second here. So the plant grew really well, it was really lush and green, but as you guys can see, it's a little crowded in the container. I'm just giving you a close-up here, and you can see that a few of the beets actually didn't grow to full size. This is due to spacing issues, so I thought I had properly spaced everything, but as you can see, it was a little too crowded once they grew to full size. So next year I would definitely space them a little bit further apart, I would say another inch or so that each of the beets could grow a little bit bigger and a little more full. Okay, now moving on to turnip. I started the turnip inside from seed, and then I went ahead and transferred them into this big container here. Again, I think I did have too many turnips in this container because a few of them as well did not grow to full size. So one big lesson learned this season is making sure that you space everything properly. It's really important to make sure that you get a full size harvest at the end of the season. So here's a little bit more of a close-up. You guys can see just how big and bushy the plant got. And I did have 3 turnips grow in this container in the end. This was the biggest one here. And this was the other one. So here's one of the ones that didn't grow. And you guys can see the third turnip there that had started to come up. I did already do a full update and harvest video on my channel about a month ago, so if you guys didn't catch that, make sure to go back and check it out on my channel as well if you want to see a more in-depth harvest. Okay, now moving on to carrots. I planted these as well directly in the container, and they did really well. Giving you guys a little bit of a close-up. Stay tuned on my channel, I will be doing a full harvest on this. I did harvest about 5 to 6 carrots out of this container. Next year I think I will do an even bigger container because I'd love to have even more carrots. And next we have the Brussels sprout. This was growing really well all season. But just like how my cauliflower was impacted by that week of crazy weather from hot to cold, the same thing happened with the Brussels sprout. I never actually got to harvest any Brussels off of this plant. You guys can see on the close-up there, Brussels sprouts actually grow in between the joints of the plant, and I did have some growth and they were already starting to come out, but it got too cold and I didn't end up getting any for harvest. So one major lesson, I will definitely be planting that earlier next year. And moving on to my broccoli plant. I did do an update on this already on my channel. You can go back and check that out if you'd like. So the broccoli was doing so well all season. You guys can see in the middle there, I already had my first broccoli head coming up. I was super excited, but again, like I've been saying earlier in the video, that 1 week of weather really messed with my garden. What ended up happening was my broccoli plant bolted. So I'm gonna show you guys what that is. So as you can see, it clearly grew way up in the middle. The plant bolted and there was not one significant broccoli head, it was actually multiple little heads. And why this happens is because the soil got too hot and it reached the roots of the plant. So when the heat wave came, it definitely impacted how the broccoli was growing. And even though I had mulched around the plant to try and keep it cool, it was just too hot for the broccoli. It doesn't like hot temperatures like this, and in the end, the broccoli plant bolted and then went to flower. So again, I will definitely be starting this earlier next year. And moving on to Swiss chard. So I started the Swiss chard from seed, as you guys can see there, and I ended up doing 2 Swiss chard plants. They grew really well. I had no problems with these throughout the season. This was after, I would say, about a month or so. The leaves were getting pretty big on the plant. And here's the second plant here. Again, it got really big. It was really lush and green. I'll definitely be doing a few more Swiss chard plants in the future. It was my first time growing them, and I definitely will be growing this again. Well, I hope if you guys enjoyed this full garden update, you will leave me a like, a comment below, and subscribe to my channel. As always, stay tuned for the next video coming. I'll be sure to share my harvest of my carrots and my beets. Thanks for watching!